Welcome back to the last Daily Rundown of the week. I'm Dan Morfitt, and with me tonight is Ayesa, Toure and Ashleigh Talbot. Our next story is about the new London mayor. Sadiq Khan has rejected the US presidential hopeful Donald Trump's offer to make an exception for the new London mayor to travel to the US, because this would get round Donald Trump's ban on Muslims. Mr. Khan refused Mr. Trump's offer, saying the New York businessman's views were ignorant and would make the UK and the US less safe. Now, Trump's often given conflicting accounts on issues including his tax plan, abortion issues and transgender people accessing public toilets. So much so that now he says if a ban on Muslims went ahead, it would be a temporary ban, and he's backtracked even more, saying it was just a suggestion. So, on all of this, is Trump becoming more presidential?
No.
Ayesa? One word answer there from Ashleigh.
Yeah, exactly.
No.
Sorry, but
I
Ayesa?
agree. I concur. Absolutely. I couldn't get over the idea that now it's a suggestion. The man is just embarrassing himself left, right, and centre. I cannot understand how anybody. I mean, okay, I was watching something the other day. Piers Morgan was saying, actually, in America, there are huge amounts of Americans. You get the sense that he could really, really seriously be president. But, you know, coming from this country where people debate and talk, and talk with meaning and understanding and knowledge, and have somebody, to just coming out with just things. It's like somebody who does, the types of people who are down the pub, it's almost like he says things like that. I just can't get over it.
That's all fine and well, but he's now changed his position twice in a day. Surely that shows he is becoming more presidential. He realises he has to meter his speech. He has to almost think before he says stuff.
Almost, perhaps, but I think we might be optimistically reading too much into it there. I think to hope for Trump to actually become more presidential in an actual presidential Lincoln, Eisenhower, Kennedy sort of way,
absolutely,
is hoping for far, far too much. Frankly, because that's not going to happen. We keep describing him as New York businessman, and that is all he will ever be. A failed New York businessman, no less.
He only had $6 million from his father.
Right.
He only had $6 million.
Only. I mean, what a poor guy, building up from nothing.
If he invested all of the money from his father into the top 100 stocks in America, he would be worth more now than he's actually got.
Yes, but it's because of all those failed businesses that he keeps starting. And yet he's saying, I'm a successful businessman. No, you're not, all right? Trump steaks, remember them? No, all right. So he's managed to hoodwink the American people into thinking that because he's a successful businessman, he will be a successful president. But he is an unsuccessful businessman.
Ultimately, though.
What does that say?
And he's not a successful speaker.
No.
He doesn't remember anything that he says. The idea that he could offer an exception to Sadiq Khan.
Presidential exception.
No, but you're okay because they've just told me you become mayor of London. How did that happen? And
You're my friend now.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But you and nobody else. Oh no, but that means probably I'll have to have the other Muslim leaders come too. Are they exceptions as well? It's just the idea that you think you could come out with something like that with a straight face and think, I mean,
that'll be okay.
Yeah.
That'll be okay. People will accept that.
Ultimately, we don't have a word in this.
No, indeed. Although we can try.
No, ultimately, if Obama came over here and told us to vote for one particular party or another, we wouldn't like it. They've got their own democracy. It looks as if he is going to be the Republican nominee. Everybody else has bowed out. They could still usurp him at the convention because the wacky way that American politics works. If they don't, he could go independent and throw the race into a three-way split, which would be even worse. But isn't it good that he's now changing these ideas? Isn't it now good that he's somebody's
changing ideas, or are people just going, "Hey, look, what you said before was just so ridiculous, but now it is really becoming ridiculous because these people are actually here." So it's like, "Oh, right, okay, what can I say now then?"
These people are protesting you. I need to backtrack. So he's done it with equal marriage, right? So he came out and said in the first few weeks of the race, equal marriage, if I was to be elected president, I will reverse the decision that allows same-sex couples to marry. a week or so later, he came out with, "Oh well, actually, maybe I wouldn't do that." And then so at one point,
it's so funny. Yeah, really, I do. I find the whole thing just hilarious. I can't. I just find it extraordinary that people are taking him seriously.
Right.
But like you
with
say,
that hair.
I'm just the fact.
Okay, let's balance it out then.
Mouth.
Hillary Clinton's hair. What's that all
really,
about?
No, that's sexist.
It's just the things that come out of
Well,
the
this is the
man's
thing.
mouth.
We can't say this.
Yes, you can.
Look at Larry Sanders' hair, Bernie Sanders' hair. Look at it. It's all much of a muchness. But I think over the next few days we're going to be seeing Trump,
Nelly the elephant.
change his speech, and with that possibly policies. But we get to laugh at it from afar.
Well, yeah, and then sort of look on in horror when they elect him, and then he's the man with the nuclear briefcase, and then
Absolutely.
we're like, well,
That's just
okay then.
This is the thing.
This is
It's
a new
so super
situation.
scary that it doesn't even bode thinking about.
With
does
that,
it really?
I really want to see this nuclear briefcase. As if it exists. Is it Wi-Fi? Is it Bluetooth?
It's
I
a
don't know.
small radio-controlled sort of thing that looks a bit like a football.
Let's
It's
move
very
on.
interesting.
Let's move on to our next story. A senior police officer has been ordered to fly back to the UK after reports detectives searching for a missing person in Greece went on an 8-hour drinking session. This is according to the Sun newspaper. Ben Needham went missing in 1991 during a holiday and would now be 26 years old. South Yorkshire Police said that there would be an investigation. Ben's mother, Kerry Needham, has come out in support of the police, though, and criticised the Sun for doing the story. She said the decision to recall a senior officer could actually put the entire investigation into jeopardy. So imagine this, it's after 5 o'clock, you're off shift. Should we really be talking about this? And would we be talking about this if it was just police officers clocking off in South Yorkshire?
No.
No.
I don't think we would. Actually, this is just, they've flown to Spain and drunk on the public money. No, that's not what they've done. They've not spent any money from, as it were, the police kitty or whatever. They're out there doing an investigation into a missing child in a foreign country. And I imagine maybe once you have finished on a Friday night after 5 p.m, which is when this has taken place, you maybe would want to maybe
I can't
cut loose
understand
and
how
chill
he's
out.
managed to be recalled, because as you say, that was their free time. Everyone gets free time. They weren't on duty. So I don't really understand the grounds upon which they've recalled him.
You can only do so much police work in a day.
Yes.
Looking at this story, the cynic in me looks at it and thinks, South Yorkshire Police, the Sun newspaper.
Oh, right.
No other newspapers picked up on this. No other news sources picked up on this. It is an ultimate non-story. People abroad, not working, have a few drinks. Not caused an international incident. Not caused a riot.
Well,
the mother of the missing son is fine with the police and said this could jeopardise the actual investigation. It just seems all too perfect otherwise.
Well, it's very much the Sun's MO, though, like making far too much of somebody's drinking, even when their relatives are saying no, they weren't, and then denying it for a long time and ignoring, the facts. That's very much what the Sun does, as we have seen only recently. So to say that they have picked up this story, it's a non-story. It really is. It's just the Sun over-sensationalizing something because the Sun's like, for some reason, the Sun wants the people that read it to attack the various establishments that keep people buying the Sun. When you come down to it.
It's interesting that you say about the South Yorkshire Police, because I was just thinking then that's a negative story for them, but during that whole Hillsborough thing, they were supporting the police, weren't they? Quite recently. And so it just seems quite interesting that you said, okay, I mean, that's the link that I just made when you said, oh, it's the South Yorkshire Police and it's the Sun. But it's quite interesting because you just think, well, they were always quite pro them in terms, as opposed to being anti the fans in the whole Hillsborough thing. Now we've just had that whole vindication of the Hillsborough fans, and the Sun apparently didn't report widely upon the fact that they were vindicated, the fans were vindicated. But now it's another story about alcohol, it's a story about the police, and as you said, it's a story about the Yorkshire Police.
It's quite a big story as well, because I grew up in Yorkshire, so the Ben Needham story of this lad being supposedly abducted, gone missing, has always been an open story. And the South Yorkshire Police, in this instance, in the eyes of the public, have always done a grand job in trying to find him, trying to find any leads, what's happened to him. And the fact that the mother of Ben is even supporting the police in this. It just seems that to print this story damages everyone, helps no one, and doesn't push further for the truth of finding the whereabouts of Ben Needham.
Yeah. But why are they attacking them though? Why would they be doing that though?
To sell papers?
Other than to sell papers, why put?
There is no other
no
logic to this because we picked up on the story because it's that almost moral high ground that not just the Sun but other newspapers have of if people are clocked off at work, you can't have a drink. If people have left their children and they've gone missing, it's their fault. It's almost as if there are moral guardians, these newspapers, but what they've done and what they've shown to have been done in the last few years, and the inquiries that have gone into it,
and court cases,
we know that not all of them. There's a lot of good journalists, but the papers have been shown to hack dead people's phones, pay off police officers. We haven't seen anything done on that. The Levenson inquiry has sort of disappeared.
Like smoke.
Yeah, the smoke and mirrors is rather distressing.
Yeah, never leaves, does it?
It's sad that this is one of those stories, and here on the Daily Rundown, we'll probably be covering more like them. Right, it's time for another break now. Next, we'll be talking about high heels and racist rappers. The Daily Rundown, we cover absolutely everything. See you in a bit.